I usually wear a hat or have something in the background to distract you from the crap content that I produce. I wore a cowboy hat last time, and the only other hat I can find at the moment is unfortunate. Let's talk about stuff. Animorphs movie. What actors do we want in the Animorphs movie? Well, I've got some ideas. Firstly, I will say I do not have any ideas for the actual Animorphs. Disclaimer, I don't watch movies and I don't watch TV shows very often. That's just the way it is. So my knowledge of actors is restricted to ones from Game of Thrones. Yeah. The kids are undoubtedly going to be played by child actors. And considering this movie is not going to be done for probably a couple of years, they've probably not even been born yet. So there's no point in me even guessing who those actors are going to be. The adult actors, though, and voices of various aliens and what have you, are easier. And I've got 5 suggestions here. There'll probably be a part 2 to this video because obviously 5 actors isn't going to cover it. So let's get started and dive into my suggestions for who should be the actors in the upcoming Animorphs movie. Right, so first actor, obvious. Obvious. Where's his picture? The most obvious answer anybody could ever give, it's Shawn Ashmore. So this guy here, who was in the original Animorphs TV show. Granted, it was shite, but Shawn Ashmore is a proven actor, and I can't put this book back on the shelf because everything's broken. He's a proven actor, and he's already said that he'd be game to come back. Excellent. Shawn Ashmore, come on to the team. You can be Steve Berenson. I originally thought potentially he could play Tom, Jake's older brother. But then I looked at Shawn Ashmore's age and he's 40. Now I thought he's got a very young face. He could probably pass off as an older teenager or young adult. But I think 40 is probably pushing it. Make him Jake's dad, Steve Berenson. Why not? I mean, it would be perfect, let's be honest. He could potentially go for a bigger role. I did originally say I think Shawn Ashmore would actually make a pretty deceiving, but also quite a good Visser 3. I have a better idea for him. Charles Dance. You all know Charles Dance. He played Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. Big, intimidating old man with a voice of thunder. And just complete intimidation on all fronts. It was Eugene Lipinski in the TV series who played Victor Trent, or Visser 3. And he did a good job. By the way, I still think he is an actor, so maybe we could get him in somewhere. But I think we need Charles Dance as Visser 3. We need to make Visser 3 more intimidating. Because in the books and in the TV series, he became a joke. Really. A joke. The big bad needs to be the big bad. And Tywin Lannister pulls off a big bad like you wouldn't believe. And what about his lackey? One of the first lackeys we meet in the series, Chapman. I forget his first name. Chapman is the vice principal at the school that the Animorphs go to, and he's shown to be, I don't think a sub-visser, but it's almost like, I think he was even mentioned as being a lieutenant, or lieutenant to you Americans. Chapman is supposed to be quite tall, quite slender, and quite stern. Bryan Cranston. Walter White from Breaking Bad. He acted brilliantly in that series, and he was quite a dry, stern-faced actor. He had his comedy moments, but at the same time, he pulls off that sort of conflicted, beaten-down man perfectly. And I think that role would suit Chapman perfectly. So, and I think having Charles Dance and Bryan Cranston as a duo for a little bit, get your bloody awards out for the lads. Now, I've thought of Elfangor. Of course, we never see Elfangor, at least not in this book, using a human form. By the way, going back to Charles Dance, I know that I understand that Visser 3 most of the time will be in his own body, so we won't see Charles Dance, but I still think his voice is more than good enough to be a convincing Visser 3. Elfangor. I don't know why I thought of him, but what about James Earl Jones? The guy who played Darth Vader and Mufasa. I believe it was Mufasa from The Lion King. A nice, brooding, deep voice. Obviously played Darth Vader, a bad guy, but also Mufasa, who was the father figure, the bloody spiritual bloody lion. I know Elfangor isn't a lion, but I think the voice of James Earl Jones popping up here and there, you know, it's got to be worth something. And I think it would be nice to have him voice Elfangor. Why not? What have we got to lose? I was trying to think of other characters that we have in book 1, or going into book 2, who were important and would have big name actors. I struggled, but one actor that I do want to get involved, mostly because I think he's just a good actor, but also because he was in the one and only Ivan movie. So was Bryan Cranston, by the way. Bryan Cranston and Danny DeVito were in the one and only Ivan movie. They've just been in a K.A. Applegate movie. Bring them over to Animorphs. Why not? I mean, they've already got their foot in the door, basically, haven't they? Danny DeVito, I don't know who he'd play. I thought the policeman at first, the one that takes Cassie. But my fiance said he probably wouldn't go for a small role like policeman. So maybe as one of the parents or like a grandparent or something. But I can't think of many other people that have a major role, at least not in the first book or two. Maybe he could voice Axe. I don't think he should voice Axe. So those are a few ideas I'm going to throw at you for actors in the first movie. Assuming there is a first to then be followed by further movies. Great actors. A couple of them have already got their foot in the door. 3 of them. Sean Ashmore, he's pretty much already there, I reckon. Bryan Cranston was in the one and only Ivan, and so was Danny DeVito, so those would probably be worth a shout. Charles Dance, I think he would be the perfect Visser 3. Right, so if I get any more ideas, I'll be sure to tell you. Remember to check out my Twitter, ThomasHeap91. Remember to check out the Animorphs Discord. It's been running for over 3 years now. And remember to check out my fan fiction. Links to all of those are in the description below. I'm going to find a better hat for the next video because this is my fiance's and even she hates it. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Toodaloo!